Hey guys, this practice is going to be just like a really easy, soft practice that you don't really need any experience to be able to do. It's going to focus on just really releasing tension in your body. So if you sit at a desk all day or you're kind of stressed out and you feel just like your shoulders and neck are just kind of crunched up, it's just going to help by really focusing on your shoulders, your neck, your chest, and just kind of softening everything. So energetically, we're just going to kind of open your heart, and it's going to be just kind of creative. We're going to have some movement. So at any time, if you feel like, I'd really like throughout this practice just for you to just step in and just listen to your body and just feel what you need. If you need to just, just sit in a posture and be still, then do that. If you feel like you need some movement before you can kind of sit into it, do that. So just really listening to your body. And the best way that I find to do that is just by closing your eyes when you're in the postures, once you kind of get settled in and figure out what you're doing. And that way you kind of tap into like, what is my body telling me? So we're going to start out this practice just in like a nice child's pose. And basically you just want to open up your legs and just gently fold down into the child's pose. And you want to kind of keep your arms strong, but not super clenched up. So just, again, this practice is going to be about just softening and releasing tension. So you don't want to create more tension. We're just going to take just a couple minutes here just to kind of get out of our heads and out of what we may have been doing today and just kind of get into this moment. So just take a few minutes here, kind of coming into your breath, just noticing your breath, not trying to force it, just gently inhaling and gently exhaling. Just letting your body kind of just soften into the posture, not trying to force anything. We're just getting started here today. You don't have to look a certain way. Just really being comfortable so that you can settle in. And when you feel your mind kind of wandering, just coming back to your breath. And then just keeping our hands firmly on the ground, we're just gonna kind of pick up our head a little bit and just slowly move over your hands over to your right side. Not too much, just so that you feel just like a nice gentle stretch. And then just kind of settle back down into it. Just feeling that whole left side of your body open up. Maybe you notice some areas in your body that kind of feel tense and tight. Just letting your body soften into this posture. And we're just gonna gently pick up our head again. And just come back to center. Maybe you just need to kind of do a little movement in there before we move over to the other side. And then when you feel ready, just gently move your arms over to the other side and just settle back down into the posture. And when you feel ready, just coming back to center. And just slowly coming back up. We're just going to come on to what's called an easy seated pose. So you can do this a couple different ways. If you have like a block or a book, you can set it just under your bum. It's just going to help just to kind of put your hips above your knees, which will just make you a little bit more comfortable in this posture. I like using a blanket. So whatever works for you, whatever you happen to have. And we're just gonna kind of settle in here. And what I like to do to begin this posture is just begin by just softening my jaw. I find that when we're really stressed out, like our jaw is kind of the first thing to get clenched up. So just, I like to just grab kind of right in between, like in the middle of my jaw, and just gently kind of pull down, and it just feels like so good, so good. And just kind of like softening into that spot of taking this time out for you. So often we're doing things for everyone else that we forget to kind of focus on what might be important for us at the end of the day or the beginning of the day. So just taking as much time as you need here. I like just really like pulling my jaw down. Probably looks super weird on the video, but it feels so good. Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. And then once you feel complete there, we're just gonna drop our hands down. And we're just gonna start with just some gentle like neck movements. So just slowly bringing your neck to your chest and gently coming over to one side. And then we're going to come back down to center. And move over to the other side. And you can kind of just do this at your own pace here. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Just listening to your body. Maybe you need more movement. Maybe you want to just hold your neck on the one side for some time before you go to the other side. If it feels right for you, you can gently circle your neck around, just being very gentle though. This shouldn't be fast. And if you decided to go all the way around, just making sure that you just switch sides. Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. We're gonna just gently do some kind of shoulder rolls. Of course, my cat's watching me. It's making this really awkward and forward. Good. Okay, and then we're just going to gently move on to just some gentle twists. So when you move over, we're just going to lift our hands up, reaching for the sky, and just coming down. And we're moving with our body. So you can feel your body moving. We don't want to crank our neck. So I like to just move my body first. And then once that's in a good place, then just gently turn my neck. You don't ever want to be cranking your neck. We want it just, asana should be just a comfortable seat. It shouldn't be something that makes you more stressed out. And just gently going back to center. And we're just going to do that on the other side. So just picking up your arms, stretching them out, and then moving your body over to your left side. And then after you got your body, then just gently turning your neck. And then we're going to do that again, just on the other side. If you want to lift your arms up again, go ahead, or you can just gently turn. I'm just feeling that gentle twist in your back. Coming back to your breath. Alright, so maybe you just need like a little bit of movement. I like to just take time, rather than just jumping into the next posture, just take time to listen to my body and like, what does it need? What does it want here? Your yoga class shouldn't be about following what a teacher says. It should be about following what your body needs. So at any time, if you feel like you need to stay somewhere, or you need something, make sure you're tapping in and listening to that. So the next posture that we're going to do is just gently bringing your hand over to the one side and just stretching up and just being mindful. We want to keep both, like our bum, even on the left side, we want to make sure that that stays on the mat. So don't go too far that you're sacrificing that. If you can go all the way down, great. If not, just stay where you are. So where do you start to feel that kind of wall? And then just hold it there. And just gentle breaths. And then coming over to the other side. And your head in this posture can be either up or down. Maybe you want to try kind of both of them and whatever feels good for you. And then at your own pace, we're just going to kind of take a couple of movements back and forth. Maybe you want to go a little bit faster. Maybe you want to hold the posture. What do you need? Okay, and then this time, we're just going to come down and hold for a moment, and then just gently sweep forward and come to the other side. And then hold for a moment and gently sweep forward. And just kind of continuing at your own pace. We're just gonna settle in with just a gentle forward fold. I like to uncross my legs and just switch onto the other leg. just because we want to make sure that we're taking the time to be mindful of both sides. We don't want to create any more misalignments than we might already have in our body. So we want to make sure that we're just kind of opening up both sides. And then we're just going to gently just come forward. You don't have to go super far. Just wherever feels right for you. Maybe you need some movement. Sway side to side. In this practice, we're focusing on the earth and water elements. So with your earth elements, the earth practices is really to make you feel supported, strong, held. And your water element, the movement and the postures and the gentle twists, the hip openers, that is like creativity. And I feel like when I'm more creative, I just am more at peace. It's like just childlike. I feel more playful. Which after, a long day at work or your kids stressing you out, sometimes we need to come back into that playful state. Good. Okay. All right, and then one more in this posture. We're just going to open up our feet. You can have them, my cat's trying to eat the microphone. You can have them really close to your body or further away. If you want close to your body, you're going to notice it more in your inner thighs. Further away is going to be your outer thighs, more of your outer thighs. So, I know like sitting all day, this one is just really good. Just to kind of help open things up. And you can just take a little bit of movement again from side to side. And then once you've kind of got enough movement that you feel complete, then you want to just settle into that place of stillness. And rather than having your back kind of like hunched over, we want to make sure that we keep our back flat and our neck just in line with our back. So just gently coming forward. You don't have to go all the way to the floor. So this is your experience. So you go where your body needs. And you'll find that when you start listening to what your body needs, you'll start hurting yourself less. And you'll start noticing what needs your attention. Instead of putting it off until it gets really bad and your back seizes or you get really bad kinks. You'll start to notice a lot sooner of what needs your attention. And just coming back to your breath, nice and gentle. And you'll notice it when you stop forcing yourself into postures and just are okay with being where you're at, that your body will open up more naturally. When you push yourself so that your body is in like a clenched state, it does that to keep you safe so that you don't hurt yourself. So when you just go to your edge without forcing things, your body will just naturally just start to open up for you. And then you'll be able to go a little bit deeper. And sometimes you're going to notice that within a few breaths. Sometimes it takes years. So just being patient. Good. And then coming up. And you can move your blanket away, or we're going to be coming onto our knees, so if you want to just keep that blanket under your knees, you can do that too. And if you have kind of any ankle issues, it's nice to kind of keep them propped up on something. If you need, you can even fold up a blanket underneath your ankles, and that'll just kind of help so that they're not so flexed. So we're just going to gently just bring our arms behind our back and just gently lift our chest up to the sky and just softening into it. Taking your breaths. If you need to bend your elbows, I'll turn over here for you. If it's too much straightening your elbows, you could just keep them bent as well. If that's still too much, you can even just kind of place them on your back and just open up. So whatever feels comfortable for you. And then we're just going to gently bend our elbows and come over to one side if you can. And then that same side that you've brought your hand onto, we're just going to gently bend our neck towards it. Not trying to force it, just enjoying it. And then gently coming back to center and just giving your body a moment to settle back into itself. And then moving over to your other side. And then just gently tipping your head over to that same side.
You fight, but what are you fighting for? Knock.
Perfect. And then just coming back to center, maybe you just want one more nice big stretch. Alright, so we're going to come into tabletop. Again, you can move your blanket or keep it there. If you're on a harder floor, having that blanket there is really nice. Or if you have bad knees too, the blanket's really nice. So we're just going to come into what's called a tabletop position. So we want to make sure that our legs are kind of parallel, that our arms are underneath our shoulder. And just making sure that our neck is aligned. So you don't want to be cranked down too much or up too much. We just want to have it just aligned. And then we're just going to drop into what we call a cat and cow. So on your inhale breath, we're just going to gently tip your pelvis and your head upwards. And then on your exhale, we're going to just gently curve up into what's called the cat, and it kind of looks like just a scared cat position. Or angry cat, I don't know. And then on your inhale, back to this cow position. And then exhale, back into cat. And then just kind of doing this at your own pace with your breath. So not trying to force it. Maybe you need to just kind of hold one more than the other. And you can take just a little bit more movement in them if you need. And kind of do circles. Just listening to your body. It doesn't have to look a certain way. You just want it to feel what's best for you. And just being mindful that if you do something on one side, to try to do that same on the other side. Perfect. And then when you feel complete, we're just going to come back into that neutral spine again, just with our head, neck, and spine aligned. And we're going to place our right hand in the middle of the mat and just gently bring our left arm up and just holding for a moment. Your neck can be either up or down, whatever you need. And then we're just going to gently come down and kind of tuck it underneath your arm. And then back up again. And then this time we're just going to, as we curl it under, lay right down on top with our shoulders there. And you can keep your right arm how it is, or you can stretch it out above your head. This is just like a really nice little shoulder stretch. And while you're here, just coming back to your breath again. And then just gently bringing your arm back. And you want to make sure that your right arm just has a stronger grip on the floor, because that's what you want to push up off of. You don't want to be pushing up off of your shoulder and your body. You want to push up with your hand and just gently bring your arm out. And then maybe just taking some of those cat and cows. Come back to your center. Before we move on to the other side. Okay, and then just bringing your left hand just a little bit more into the center. It doesn't have to be right in the center, but I find it's just nice if I move it just over a little bit. And then bringing the weight into your left hand, we're just going to gently come up with our right arm. Taking a breath. And then just gently curving under. And then again, we're going to just come on up with our right arm. And then this time we're just going to melt right into the ground as we stretch our arm out. And again, your right hand can stay in front of your face, or it can come out over top of your head. Another version that I really like is bringing my hand around to the other side of my body. That feels good for you. But just listening to what you need. Is there anywhere in your body that's kind of maybe speaking to you a little bit more? And then just gently, just breathing into those places. Maybe that you're holding tension. Not trying to change it, not being angry at it for being sore or stiff. Your body does so many things for you every day that we take for granted. So just breathing into those places of stiffness and being grateful for all the things that it does for you. And just breathing energy into it. Good. And then just coming out, making sure we push off with our hand. And just bringing our hands back into that tabletop. And again, it's taking a little bit of movement. Perfect. Okay. I'm just gonna move this blanket out of my way here for now. And then we're just gonna come onto our stomachs. And bringing your hands to your elbows under your shoulders and palms just straight ahead. Coming into just like a gentle, this is called Sphinx. And not cranking your head or your neck. You want to just be just nice and straight. So just keeping your neck in line with your spine. And just feeling as you breathe in. And then all the tension just release from your body. And it's coming in from your mouth or your nose. And then as you breathe out, just flowing down through your toes and out. Breathing in energy and exhaling all your stress out. Good. Okay, and then we're just going to gently just come on down. And we're going to extend our left arm out to the side. This might be kind of fun, look kind of funny if you haven't done it before. So we're gonna extend our left arm straight out. And then with our right leg, or our right arm, I guess, we're gonna just have kind of bent beside our face. And then with our right leg, we're just gonna kick it up and slowly push ourselves over to our left side. So being mindful when you do this, not to push yourself too far. Maybe that not bringing this leg up, maybe you need to keep this leg just down so that there's not so much pressure on your shoulder. If this feels good, you can tip your leg up so that your foot is on the floor. Just again, listening to your body. What do you need? Not anybody else. What do you need? And I love this posture. It really helps just to open up my shoulders. And you also get just a nice little gentle twist in as well. And just coming back to your breath. And then we're just going to slowly come back down to center. And just bringing both your palms back. And just noticing the differences in the one side of your body compared to the other now. Does your left side feel more open? Maybe like there's just a bit more energy in it? And then not making any judgments about that, just being aware of it. Just being aware of how it feels. And then we're gonna just bring our left hand back. And this time we're gonna outstretch our right arm. We're gonna keep our left arm by our face and kick up our left leg, or not kick up, but just gently raise our left leg. And then again, we're just gonna kick, kind of tip over and push ourselves over that right shoulder. And again, only going as far as you need. back to the breath. And taking these times for these neck and shoulder practices, so often we feel like we've got just the weight of the world on our shoulders. So taking this time for yourself is so important and so special. Good. And then just gently coming back down. Maybe you would just want to outstretch both arms. Maybe you want to put them both by your side. Maybe up ahead. Just kind of like one last little stretch here when you wake up in the morning and you stretch everything out. Good. And then just kind of pushing yourself up. Now for this one, this is going to be our last posture before you can use a block. If you are using a block, I would use a foam block just because they're a little bit softer than the cork ones. If you have a blanket, you can use that too. And we're just going to fold it over. And you can do this kind of at whatever height you want. The higher that it is, the more, obviously the more that you're going to feel this in your back. We're just going to be laying over top of it. So kind of whatever you need, or again, you can use a block. And we're just going to gently come in so that our shoulders are just over top of the blanket of the block. And there's just a nice gentle little back bend. And I love this one so much because not only is it opening up your shoulders and kind of softening them down, but it's also opening up your chest. And when we're hunched over at a desk all the time, typing on our keyboard, it closes our chest over, and I feel like that like closes up our heart sometimes as we get so focused on what we're doing that we forget to open up to what the rest of the world has to offer us. So I'm just going to kind of be quiet here for a couple minutes and just let you just enjoy this time for yourself. And maybe noticing kind of what sensations you feel. You don't ever want to feel anything in pain, but you might notice your body just maybe kind of, you'll feel like physical sensations, especially if you're not used to this. It might feel very strange for you. And not trying to change anything, but just being aware of it and just breathing into those places. And coming back to your breath. Every time your mind wanders, just coming back to your breath. Okay, and then just ever so gently, we're just gonna slowly take that blanket or block or whatever it is that you have out from under your back. And we're just going to spread out our arms. You can spread out your legs just into the four corners of your mat, kind of, or the two bottom corners of your mat. Or however you feel. If you want them closer into your body, that's fine, but just making sure that it's just gently, that you're able to just kind of just let go and release. This is your final posture, and this is what's called Savasana or Shavasana. And this posture is just a really beautiful time. Lots of people tend to skip it, but this is kind of a one you can really absorb the rest of your practice. And if you let it, this can be just like a really meditative posture, and might very well end up being one of your favorites. So you don't have to do anything else, just enjoying the rest of your practice here. And I'm just going to give you a few minutes of just this time for yourself. If you would like to just stay in this posture, please do. If you have other things on the agenda to do today and you're ready to complete your practice, you can start by just gently moving your fingers and toes, and bringing some energy back into them. And then we're just going to slowly just turn to one side. And then when you feel complete, you're just going to just gently just press yourself up into that easy seated pose that we started in before. Trying to keep your eyes closed closed. And you can rest your hands on your knees, palms up or palms down. Whatever feels better for you. And then we're just going to bring our hands to our hearts. Thank you for this practice. I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day. Namaste.